Good evening.
Good evening.
Listen,
No.
you can't honestly say that Arc of Infinity is a great story. I think, to be fair, you can't honestly say that Arc of Infinity is a good story. But
It's a bad story.
it's so ridden with flaws that I think to give it too much credit is pushing it. And as you know, I'm not one who dwells in hyperbole ever. But I've really enjoyed Arc of Infinity. Here are my problems with Arc of Infinity. You cannot do a program, you cannot do a story that just totally relies on you knowing what happened 10 years ago. Okay?
Yes.
And it really does. At no point did it bother to explain who Omega was. I obviously know. Libby's forgotten, as you would expect. But, and there are no concessions made. There are no concessions made in relation to Gallifrey. There are no concessions made in relation to Omega. And as a result, you're just left to sink or swim. And that would be an approach. But then the characterisation of Omega is just bang off. This isn't really the same Omega that we had before. The Omega before was clearly mad, but, mad in the context of a children's TV programme. But also very, very tragic. Really tangibly tragic figure. And that didn't come across at all. That really, really didn't come across at all. And that's a great pity. Being in Amsterdam is a superb idea. But this last episode, which just highlighted how little time we'd really, truly spent in Amsterdam before, tried to do the City of Death thing with none of the charm, With the best will in the world, Amsterdam, although having a beautiful charm of its own, doesn't quite pop on screen the way that Paris did. And even if it did, the tone of this story doesn't lend itself to an extended runaround at the end. It just doesn't, City of Death was silly, essentially, a lot of the time. And with the Doctor like Tom, you get away with that sort of thing. I like Davison's interpretation of the Doctor in this, though. I liked the fact that he snapped at Nyssa, which generally I don't like, but then they've sort of got an understanding now, so when they were back in the TARDIS, he kind of apologised without saying sorry. But I absolutely hate his response to Tegan being back on board, because you should be pleased to have Tegan back, because she's class. If you want to sort of suggest that the Doctor doesn't want to be burdened with it, you should play it up, like really play it up. Make it like ludicrous. Give us the opportunity to laugh at the Doctor, perhaps, which doesn't take place here. I'm not entirely sure what they think they're trying to say with this. I quite enjoyed Davison as Omega. That worked for me, but having the voice there being played by the actor Ian Collier, I'm sure it was Stephen Thorne that did Omega 4, but maybe I've got that naming wrong. Anyway, my point being that I quite enjoyed Davison in this role. But what a weird story. For saying that I can see it's riddled with flaws, it's so much better just in terms of the feel than almost anything in the previous season. Kinder accepted. And the second half of Castrovelvet. Certainly the second half of Castrovelvet. That had a brilliant tone. But yeah, I mean, really odd, really peculiar, but really fun. I've enjoyed that a lot. I feel really sorry for Omega. That bit with Omega at the end where he's, smiles at the kid and the tragedy of that completely got washed away. It's so weird, this period of the programme. It doesn't quite... Oh, and the other thing that dawned on me, scientific mumbo-jumbo is not dialogue. You don't need to dress up, this pulse loop and this and this. I'd rather have people talking like people normally talk. We'll accept some sci-fi bollocks now and again. But I think a lot of the time I'm starting to feel that this era of Doctor Who substitutes dialogue for just scientific nonsense. And that is disappointing. Especially when I think you've got a good team of actors in the TARDIS now. I mean, Sarah Sutton has got some chops. She never gets a chance to show them. Janet Fielder could do a thing. And honestly, I think Davison's hamstrung here. I think he's hamstrung by these scripts. And we know, casting our head forward, there is going to be an opportunity for him to do his thing soon enough, but that's fine. Anyway, Yeah. Fun, weird, fine, good. That'll do. That's wiped away time flight. Oh, and let's not forget, though, we did have a companion die 8 episodes ago. You know, we kind of forgot about that, but hey, there we go. Say la vie. Bye-bye.